Keller.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We speak to publicists several times a day. Actually, many times a day we speak to publicists. And just to educate you a little bit, I don't want to presume everybody knows what a publicist is or what a publicist does. But publicists, in our situation anyway, they recommend to us guests, and then we decide whether we want to have those guests on the air or not. And one of the publicists that we work with up in New Jersey is a Democrat. And so she asked me on the phone yesterday, who are you supporting in the presidential race? And I said, I'm supporting Trump. I said, and I thought for sure she was going to rail into me and everything. She says, you know what? So am I. I said, no way. I said, I can't believe you're telling me you're voting for Trump. She said, yeah. And she said, you know why? Because he knows how to get things done. She says, I know he doesn't know everything, but nobody knows everything. But this guy knows how to build buildings only because he hires people who know how to build buildings. I think that's a good way of looking at it. He's a good delegator, I guess you would call that. Anyway, so now, after yesterday's win, it looks very, very possible that Donald Trump could be, probably will be the Republican candidate and just may be the president of the United States. That ought to be interesting. And I said this a long time ago, too. I said, why are they asking him about girls using the boys' room? Why are they asking him about abortion? These are important topics. But this is not who we have a president for. We don't have a president for those topics. We have a president to make sure we have a strong military, make sure we're adhering to the Constitution as close as possible, make sure we have good infrastructure. This guy knows infrastructure. He knows roads and buildings, right? And just a strong person, to be in charge of this country. I don't know if our guest agrees with everything or anything that I've just said, but Glen Fiorello is a name in this community who has made a big contribution to us as well. And you are not only supporting Donald Trump, but you are the chair. Is that what we call you? I'm looking at your card here. Good morning, Glen. How are you? Thank you for agreeing to come in. I asked Glen like a half hour ago. and so you're here. So thank you for coming on with us today.
Welcome.
So how did you get involved with the Donald Trump campaign?
It's a long story, but after the first debate, I was hooked. I subscribe to the same beliefs that Mr. Trump has. And I got involved, and lo and behold, I had a phenomenal amount of volunteers. I know the first meeting I called, there were 60 people showed up to volunteer.
Is that right? Wow.
Most of them had never been involved in a campaign. A lot of them said they're 60 plus years of age. Their family was active in politics from another area,
right,
but they never ever registered to vote. And they registered Republicans so they could vote for Mr. Trump. And you could ask them to do various things once you instructed them, how all this comes into play, and just had a phenomenal group of volunteers. And we, for no better term, flew under the radar. We did what we had to do. And I know in Marion County, the polling results were Mr. Trump was 54%, and Mr. Cruz was 17%, and Mr. Rubio was 19%. So Marion County thought the same as we did for the majority.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
Now we'll ramp up all over again.
So how is it for you? Has it changed your life? You're a big part of this. Have you met Donald Trump yet?
Oh no, I'm just a worker.
Just a worker.
I don't imagine that ever happening. But the main thing is we have an opportunity right now to make America great again, as he always states, and to unify our party. And I think if we can get the Republican Party, and this, before I go any further, I want to interrupt my own self. I want to give a little disclaimer. I am not the candidate. All I am is a chairman for the Donald Trump campaign in Marion County. So I have no right and no desire to discuss any of his stands, good, bad, or indifferent in that regard.
Right.
But okay. I can only tell you some of the things that I believe in regarding some of this.
Yeah, and our interest in talking to you is I was just curious how it is for you and Annie Marie Delgado, who we have a connection with also down in South Florida. So we're going to talk to her later, I think, right?
I think so.
But it must be exciting to be part of a team that is winning when so many people were predicting you wouldn't win. And P.S., this is just a disclaimer you gave. I have a disclaimer too. This is not a political infomercial in any way. We're not trying to tell you to vote for anybody. Glenn Beck has been for a long time now, been basically doing a Ted Cruz infomercial. I mean, if you listen to him, I love Glenn Beck, but lately he's like, holy cow. I mean, give some fair, equal time and stuff, but he's not doing it. So this is our way of doing it, at least on these airwaves.
I appreciate that.
So has it become hectic for you? Do you feel the way that we feel? Is that okay? Let me tell you from a New Yorker's point of view. Are you from here originally?
My parents moved me here in 1956.
Oh wow!
And to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And a little known secret: I was born in Brooklyn, New York, somewhere.
Is that right?
Oh, wow.
Not sure where in Brooklyn. And all I remember was I made it to first grade, and then they shipped me with my mother and father to Fort Lauderdale. So I'm almost a Floridian since 1956.
So I don't know Donald Trump, but when I look at him and listen to him, I know that guy. I've met people just exactly like him. So when he says certain things, I know where he's coming from, and I don't know that that's easy to understand all the time. So if he says something like, punch him in the mouth on the way out, it just sounds like a New Yorker. He doesn't necessarily mean punch him in the mouth. And P.S., do you know that thing that they were carrying on about calling 911 7-Eleven? Do you know what the truth is about that?
No, sir.
7-Eleven is the firehouse. What they don't call them precincts in New York. What do they call them? Just the firehouse.
Yeah.
House 7-Eleven.
It was their number.
Yeah, the firehouse 7-Eleven is what he was talking about. He didn't confuse September 11th for a convenience store. He was talking about the firehouse number 7-Eleven. I can't remember where it is in New York, but yeah. They responded to the World Trade Center on September 11th.
I mean, this is, to me, he's a phenomenal man, Mr. Trump. And what he's done with his life, I think we need to back up a little bit. Any of us who own a business, and I have owned two businesses. One I started when I first got out of high school, which was a construction company and a garbage company. You eat, sleep, and drink your business. You're trying to find a way to make a better deal. You're trying to find a way to outsmart your competitor. You have to be aggressive. At least I'm speaking now on me. I had to be aggressive as a youngster. I mean, I was 18 years old when I started personalized construction. I was competing with elderly people, maybe 50 years of age.
Yeah, right.
I wish I was 50 again. So you have to be aggressive, but you have to know your stuff. And that's what I've seen in Mr. Trump. He was very aggressive at what he's done in his whole life, it appears to me.
Yeah.
He's been very successful in what he's done in that manner. And there he carries it into the public sector. And I think some people are rubbed by that. And then guys like you and me, and hopefully you also, we appreciate that quality.
Oh, Robin was on board completely before I was, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I came on board. I mean, I was behind it, but I was like, gosh, there are some other people here, too, that we should look at. But like you, the more I listened to him, the more real. And I came to the same conclusion as the publicist. Like, this is, okay, we don't need to hear how he feels about same-sex bathrooms. That's an issue for a talk show on, like, late night show or something like that. The president shouldn't be worried about that stuff. You can have an opinion, but we're looking to hire somebody. That's what the president is, right? Who's going to keep us America and keep us great. So,
speaking my own words, when we're doing something as a deal in business, we negotiate. My whole demeanor changes. I'm not putting you down. I'm doing everything I can to try to make this thing work. And I think when the time comes and Mr. Trump has to negotiate with other countries, whatever the case may be, I think his demeanor changes. I think he realizes I've got to treat you with an element of respect. Don't insult your intelligence. And it's give and take. And that's the biggest part when you negotiate. If you go in and say, this is all I'm going to take, nothing, you come home empty-handed every time.
Yeah.
I think his ability to negotiate, whatever the case may be, I think is going to be a shining star. I really do.
His ability to come back around after the fire has been put out is interesting too, because a lot of people would stay enemies forever. The Megyn Kelly is a really interesting story. I mean, the two of them look like they hated each other, and then he goes has lunch with her, and is on her show. This morning he says in the news, the news says Donald Trump Tuesday praised Ted Cruz as a smart guy after the Texas senator quit the Republican presidential race. And it wasn't a slam. He wasn't saying, well, that was smart to get out. He was really praising him. He says, I have met some of the most incredible competitors that I have ever competed against right here in the Republican Party, Trump said to the cheering supporters. He was complimenting Ted Cruz. He wasn't cutting him down.
Correct.
But he needed to up until this point.
Well, I mean, that's someone that's seasoned and successful. You know, you never want to burn your bridges in that regard. You always take the high road at a certain time, and you try to throughout everything. But if someone, let's say, is a roadblock or whatever you've got to do to remove that person, you got to do what you got to do to make things work. That's just business. I mean, this station wouldn't be here if you said, let's just put on our lights and see if anything happens.
That's a good point.
Right.
You know,
That's a
you've
really
got to
good
be
point.
one leg up from anyone else in your industry, anyone else in your profession. And I think that's what he's shown.
Yeah.
And it carries that right through now with politics.
But he has people like yourself that have that same mindset and are able to see something that needs to be done, tries to get it done, and follows through with it. You just don't make a statement and then all of a sudden drop the ball.
No, you can't. I mean, you have to, whatever it is in life, this is my philosophy, whatever it is in life or in business, if I say I'm going to do something Tuesday at 8:45 in the morning, I'm there at 8:40. And it will get done.
Absolutely.
And I make sure that I've always delegated. And I think that's one of the keys in success.
That is.
You delegate to the proper people.
Sure.
And then you untie his or her hands and say, Robin, I hired you to do this. Here's how I'd like it done, A to B, to get C. But if you find another way to get there, try it one time. And maybe we'll change my thought process and go to what you want to do.
That's a
I've
smart
done that
leader.
my entire adult life with the individuals that have helped me run my business. You've got a better, happier employee because they bought into it now. It's their decisions how it happens. If it doesn't work, the worst case scenario is, hey, man, this didn't work. What was your way again? How I should do this?
That's right.
Surround yourself and delegate with the proper people. And I believe that's what Mr. Trump is going to do through all of this.
And if anybody, if we have been divided as a country from Republicans and Democrats, he's probably the only person who can bring us back together. And I say this because of something specifically he said in a speech I saw. I think Andy posted it, actually, a speech he did in which he says, well, he's talking about, did you see the speech where he's talking about the ice skating rink in Central Park? That was a fabulous piece of evidence as to how he'll probably run the country. But he was talking about needing to get help, and he got help from a Democrat. He said, let me tell you something, just because he's a Democrat doesn't mean he's not good. This guy knows how to get things done. So there you go. I mean, right there, you have a guy who says, "Don't tell me that D and R. There's no loyalty. You have to either be good at your job or not good at your job. That's all there is to it."
I'm thinking he's going to help. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. One of the things he's going to do, if you think about it, why did someone leave the Republican Party to join the Tea Party? They maybe, and I'm speculating, maybe they felt they didn't have a home there anymore. And I'm thinking he's going to bring people back into the fold. If it goes according to the plan and everyone works together and we unify the Republican Party, I believe you'll get those that were dissatisfied with the Republican Party and come back. I'm hoping that's what happens, those who, or independents, those who left the Republican Party for whatever reason, maybe they felt they were an outsider, or maybe they felt the party really wasn't listening to them. I believe he can build this party and build America great, just like he keeps saying.
That is interesting. I think beyond that if he is elected president, that it'll bring Americans back together.
I think you're right.
So I don't think it has to be, okay, he's Republican, so we're behind him, and the rest of the Democrats are not. Just like the lady I was talking about up in New Jersey, who said, look, I'm a Democrat, and you've known I'm a Democrat for years, and she said, but I'm going to be voting for him. Of course, she couldn't in the primary,
yes, sir.
But she'll be voting in the general election. Looks like it anyway now, right?
And that's the beauty of this. I think you're going to see more people coming around, people who maybe they didn't feel they had a home with our party, the Republican Party. I think you're going to see more of them coming on board now. And that's what I'm hoping is accomplished through this also. But the main thing is to make America great again. Let's build up America first. His trade deals. What an opportunity to have someone with his background, Mr. Trump's background, who does have to say, I worked for somebody, and I never really got to do that. He's been responsible for everything that has taken place. I think he's going to open up a lot of people's eyes, and you're going to see things happen. ISIS, to me, is something I would like to see eliminated completely. And I have no problem with someone saying they're going to slow down the immigration right now. Let's find out who's here and why they're here. I probably shouldn't say this, but anyhow. I was in Uganda helping my church last year, and I had a Muslim try to arrest me while I was there. I've kind of kept that close to the vest. I know what it's like to fear for your life over that situation. I don't want to see that happen to you or anybody in our neighborhoods.
Wow.
So I can give you a test. I could write a book on what my experience was like over there.
Really?
When the police finally caught me. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Did they put you in jail?
No, well, what happened was, I know this is what I'm here to talk about.
That's okay.
But in that type of a country, if I want some charges against Robin, I bring him a goat and an ear of corn. That gets the ball moving. That's how it works over there. You come along with 2 goats and 3 ears of corn. They forgot about what I gave Robin, and they take your case. The local police over there, and I'm in the jungle for the most part, they tried to catch me. And I had a cell phone, and finally they caught me on the cell phone, and I very eloquently told them, I'm not going to meet with y'all, because I know I wouldn't come home. The day that I left, police from 4 hours away found me, and they wanted to take my statement on all this stuff. And I made a little fib and said, the bishop's office is going to represent me. The bishop's office wasn't going to represent me. I got their names and their phone numbers and teased them that they were Italian or American. I'm thinking of anything to get out of this. I said, let's go, why don't you grab a cup of coffee or something, which there was no place to grab coffee. I'll be back in a half an hour, and let's discuss all this when I have my legal counsel. I got the priest that was in charge to get me the heck out of here.
Oh, wow.
And they got me to the airport, which was the scariest wait at that airport.
Wow.
But by the grace of all I can say is, God got me home. I'm not that spiritual of a person, but the good Lord gave me the ability to go there, and the good Lord got me home.
I'd be thanking God too if I was in that situation.
So I know what they're like, what they're capable of doing. I do not want to see anyone I know involved with that. And if Mr. Trump can do that one thing, that my heart goes out to the man. Just stop them from coming here. Let's find out who's here and why they're here. Let's find out a little bit about this stuff. Because as a Christian, American, if we ever want to protect Christianity, that might be our very first step.
Let me put a little break in here, and then we'll be right back. If you're just tuning in, Glen Fiorello is in the studio. He is the Marion County Chair for the Donald Trump campaign. Is that the way to say that?
That's correct.
Is that how I say that? All right, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For Wednesday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and not as warm with showers and gusty thunderstorms. Watch for flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts, the high 77 to 81. Becoming partly cloudy wind tonight, low 56 in the north and 64 along the coast. Thursday, sunshine, breezy, and much less humid, the high 77 to 81. For Friday, sunny, the high 77 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Since 1916, a lot of independent agents have recommended auto owner's insurance. And a lot of parents have taken that recommendation to heart. So have a lot of their children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. As we celebrate our first 100 years, Auto Owners Insurance thanks all those who have put their trust in us, and all the generations who will.
Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today, 352-732-3191.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
80% of the super rich people in his study made a habit of associating with other success-minded individuals. They also consciously avoided toxic, negative people. It's nobody's business whether you're married, engaged, or starting a family because that's considered pregnancy discrimination. Dark chocolate contains more antioxidants, called flavonols, than any fruit or vegetable out there. Surprised?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Ocala's Got Talent, and the auditions are over, but the semifinals are this Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m. right here at 301 in Citra at the Heart of Florida Youth Ranch. You can get tickets now right here at WOCA's lobby. They're just $10 for this Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m. for the semifinals for Ocala's Got Talent. Don't waste time. Come right in today and get yours for Ocala's Got Talent.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
WWWOCA, WWWOCA.
Be sure to tune in to Ocala's longest-running morning radio talk show.
AM Ocala Live from 7 a.m. till noon, weekdays.
Right here on WOCA The Source. All right, we have 5 minutes left in the segment here. Glen Fiorello was so kind. We contacted him, maybe not even an hour ago, and asked him if he'd come in and talk to us about Donald Trump, because Glen is the Marion County chair for the Donald Trump campaign. And after the win yesterday, it really looks like I think even there was a statement that said he is now he is the presumptive nominee. Is that right?
That's what I've been told. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So even though what's with Kasich? I mean, he's not dropping out. Huh? He's sticking in there.
I've got all I can do to tell you what I do every day, so I would be the wrong person to ask.
As somebody who's done politics, though, doesn't that look weird to you that he's still in there?
One would think that.
It would be like me campaigning the day after Election Day when I lost. Yeah. I'd be still out there with my sign. I'm still fighting World War II, and it's 1960 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that there's no shenanigans behind the scenes. That now the party gets behind and truthfully does support Mr. Trump, and we put all this that it took to get to the stage behind us and move forward. Unite the party, like I said earlier. Bring those individuals that left the Republican Party, became independents or Tea Party, and say, we've got a home for you. We're listening.
So do you have a campaign office in Ocala?
Out of my house.
Out of your house?
Yeah, in other words, we really didn't need that. And it's a long story. I would have liked to, but whether you know it or not, the Republican headquarters has been sold. And that we can we'll talk again some other time about that. But the way I had the classes for the volunteers, and I think I had 6 classes for volunteers, they were able to do everything at home or be with me. We didn't need an office. And a lot of times you have an office, other than eating donuts and drinking coffee all day, sometimes very little is actually accomplished.
Right.
I don't mean to sound negative.
No, that's probably true, yeah.
And if I could say one thing, if you'd allow me, I'm always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers. Would I be allowed to give my email address?
I'm hoping you do, because I'm thinking we've got people who probably want, I don't know, do you have the yard signs? Are you doing that?
Yes, but they call it collateral. And collateral from bumper stickers, which I have a gift for the two of you.
Okay.
Bumper stickers and T-shirts and hats are at a premium. And I even have a shirt. I won't say the size. You two can look at it and see if either one of you can use it.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
See, I did something right this morning.
We got one.
Give me back, I'll bring another one. But collateral's in short supply. And you got to remember, Mr. Trump wasn't asking anybody for money unless you wanted to buy a shirt.
Okay, right.
And as chairman, I just got this like a week ago.
The hat,
yeah.
Wow.
Things were in limited supply. But I'm going to give my email address, and what I'm going to ask is if someone is interested, whether you've ever been in a campaign, never been in a campaign, whatever the case may be, and you'd like to help, I'm going to ask them to give me their name and their phone number and an email, and I'll get back with them and see if we can put them to work.
Okay.
And my email address is GFIORELLO@embark. That's E-M as in Mary, B-A-R-Q, mail.com.
Okay.
I would appreciate that. And it's a very interesting campaign. And but I'd like to spend a little bit of time with them on the phone, see if I can find a home for them and put them to work.
Okay. What we'll do, the video that we just made of this interview, in the text portion of this, we'll put your email address. Do you want your phone number on there as well?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. So
We were doing good till then.
Just the email. Glen, again, thank you for coming in here. As a radio station, I wanted to, and as a radio show, we try to keep it balanced as a radio show. But as a radio station, I wanted to balance it a little bit too, because Glenn Beck has been making it a little lopsided. So just so you can kind of understand where we're coming from. It's got to be exciting, though, what's happening right now, and the fact that you're a part of this.
It is because, how can I say, when we were kids or when I was a child growing up, I mean, if someone ever said anything bad about us being Americans, you had a fight on your hands.
Yes.
We defended ourselves.
Yeah.
If anyone said something bad about anyone, and I remember as a kid one day in high school, I told my dad a guy was picking on me. My father said, "You like being picked on?" I said, "No, sir." He says, "Either bloody his nose or your own. Get it over with." We fought and fought and fought, and that was in 1965. That guy and I are the best of friends still to this day. He lives in Destin, Florida. I defended myself. No one ever picked on me again in school. We stopped defending ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Good
brought
point.
that back. Mr. Trump has brought that back. And please remember, these are my words. I'm not the candidate.
Right. Glenn, thank you. Thank you
You're
for
very
coming in.
welcome.
All right, we will take a little break. This is WOCA Ocala.
Path to victory.
It appears that path has been foreclosed.
Bernie Sanders beating Hillary Clinton in the Democratic contest there.
I understand that Secretary Clinton thinks that this campaign is over.